Looks like it's working.
Stop talking about it and do something!
Suck my dick, Earth, with that bullshit.
Really?
It's like a gentle hate.
Do we have another benevolent star here? Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Are you benevolent and your friend was?
My name is Logan Paul, and I think I'm coming out of the flat earth closet.
This is so fucking depressing. I can't be a flat earth person.
You can't have it both ways. You can't have a flat earth and...
All right then. Good evening and welcome to Gem's Flat Earth Sunday Roast. We're back once again with the show they don't want you to see. In tonight's show, we bring you the very best from the last year in Conspiritardia, including Nathan Thompson Goes to School, Renee and the 5G plus prolific prats and pranks throughout. All this and more to come in the next 2 hours, so stick around. I am your host, Gem, and joining me, as always, are just some of the cool kids from the Debate Flat Earth and More Discord server. They are the Gypsy, Jake on the Plane, Kosho, M. Scott Veach, Verbal Diarrhea, and Was. What a huge crowd we have. Good evening, gentlemen.
What an honor.
Yay!
What an honor to be on the year-end show.
Yes, the year-end show. A whole year of conspiratarded nonsense. Boiled down for you in a 1 hour show that we've just seen. Hope you all saw it. Plus more to come. Go ahead, Coach. Sorry.
No, I was just saying it's hard to believe all that happened last year.
I know.
When you got it and you remember some of the stuff, you're like, wait, that was last year, but it's such a compact year.
It was indeed. Right, now I've completely messed everything up. So, as usual, I'm going to do this. Going to be a bit of music for a second. Hold on. There, that's got rid of that. Sorry about that, folks. We should... Right, you can talk for a moment if you like.
Okay, I thought you were telling us.
Sorry.
Like, shut up.
I just got to get it to the right point, and we're almost there, so we're good now. So, how was your year? How did you cope with? Well, what did you think to that show anyway? Let's do some impressions of what we've just seen before we go any further.
Clips were great. I think your timing was excellent. You know, not too long, not too short, right to the point. And you varied it up. You threw the king in here and there. It was good.
Right. I thought it sort of pretty much told the story. I think there were a few bits missing, and some of that we're going to see now. But there are a few bits I kind of didn't really cover. I felt I didn't really cover as much as I wanted to. The stuff that's the way that this sort of protest movement seemed to spring out of conspiracy theories and kind of fringe ideas or more fringe ideas on the internet. Sort of the more extreme end of the Brexiteers, some right-wingers, QAnon, Flat Earth, anti-vaxxers, anti-abortionists, free men on the land, that whole thing. And I think that they made up, when we saw that big crowd in Trafalgar Square, I think that those groups collectively made up probably 90% of that crowd. And I'm not sure if I managed to put that across, but I did think that was an interesting thing that we saw happen last year, this sort of coming together of, it doesn't matter if you believe the Earth's flat as long as you believe sort of something anti-establishment, you're good with me kind of thing.
Yeah, it is just weird how all that it kind of seems like everything, even though there was very separate, issues, separate ideas, including COVID, the flat Earth, and then you have these protests. It's almost like everything it all had some kind of like cohesiveness to it, because almost like one thing was the result of something else, and then obviously there was people forcing things together, like COVID and 5G, which had nothing to do with one another, but still, it's kind of like you had a good like the COVID basically became like a catalyst to combine everything together and protest it, basically.
Right. It did, yeah. It seemed to. And I think as well, it dragged a lot of people onto the internet, that, they got to spend time on the internet. And I've heard many of them say this, that, they got into it when lockdown happened, and they were stuck on their computer all day,
Can I raise one issue I had with the video?
Yes.
I didn't see any clips of Chemo. And he said plenty of crazy stuff last year.
He did indeed, didn't he? Yeah, yeah. Well, he is in the titles, of course.
Of course.
Yeah, yeah. We probably could have had some of him, perhaps with one of his tangles with what's that guy's name? The oh gosh,
Like the flat Earth.
No, I'm thinking is his name Phil? No, I've suddenly forgotten the guy's name. This
Dr. Phil.
Yeah, is it Dr.
The
Phil?
guy, he was on Fight the Flat Earth show though, right?
Yeah, that's right. The PhD guy. Yeah. Apologies to the PhD guy. I should have remembered. Should I have a clip?
Let's do it.
For some reason, it's rolled the clips back to the start automatically when I flick to and from the Discord. So I don't know why that is. I think there might be a setting for it, but so that's why you're not looking at the Discord and you're looking at a blank screen at the moment. Apologies for that. I'll try and fix it during this. Our first clip this evening comes from the beginning of last year. Let's take a quick look back at the epic flat Earth moment when Nathan Thompson decided to flat smack an elementary school.
Hey guys, real quick.
Uh-oh.
I got a flyer for you. Check it out.
Hang on, I'll get there in a minute. There we go.
I can't give them a flyer. Hey guys, check this out real quick. Space is fake. You're not on a spinning ball. They're gonna teach you, listen guys, they're gonna teach you you live on a spinning ball. That doesn't make it true. It's not real. The floor is not moving 1,000 miles an hour. Okay? Yo guys, let me give you a flyer real quick. Here. I love you. Come take a flyer. Hey guys, you're not on a ball in space. The Earth is flat. Large bodies of water do not curve. Okay? Large bodies of water do not curve. Research flat Earth. That's how you do it right there. I don't need to ask anyone's permission to tell kids the truth if they're gonna lie to them.
So, I've got it working. So that was Nathan Thompson in action. Short clips this evening, most of them, because I had them prepared for that big 1 hour thing, and these are the ones that didn't make it into that cut, but I thought would be better placed here. So, what do you think to Nathan Thompson doing his thing, guys?
I didn't realize he said he loved the kids. That was super creepy.
It really was, wasn't it, when he said that?
I forgot how broken he seemed there. Like watching that, I'm suddenly like reminded that he's not that's not right. Like there's something wrong with him. When he was doing this thing that happened recently, I forgot sort of about how just aggressively crazy he was before.
Right. He was definitely fair game, I think. when you see that.
It's not that different than in all those cataclysmic movies where they show the guy on the corner in New York who's got the two signs that say the end is near or something like that, and he's walking around New York with the sign that's on the front and the back.
Yep.
Yeah.
It just kind of reminds me of that. Just some crazy guy on the corner just screaming just crazy stuff.
Yeah, it's literally that. It's literally that. I mean, the only difference is that Nathan doesn't have a sandwich board and he hasn't grown his beard out. Other than that, they're identical.
Yeah, he's got flyers instead of a sandwich board.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I was with my dad last night, and I was promoting the show to him. I was just telling him how it would be like a condensed the whole year, and actually I was describing this event to my dad, and I just trying to describe it to him. I just remember how crazy it is, because you forget that because you weren't able to put everything in here, but you forget that he also was on, I think, Globebusters, where he was telling them, like, he was describing how he was in jail, and he was like, he got approached by other prisoners and like, hey, are you the guy who was flat smacking kids? And he's like, was talking about, like, they were like, revering him in some kind of way, like he was a legend there.
People in jail were watching his YouTube channel.
Yeah, right.
That seems unlikely.
Let me guess what your dad said. He was like, Kosho, why are you wasting your time talking to all these crazy people on the internet?
Hey, my dad is possibly listening to this right now, Jake. But hey, Dad. But anyhow, no, and then also the other clip that he himself had posted of him chasing down that bus driver and then bragging to her about how he got arrested for flat smacking kids. Right. I just think it's crazy how the perception he has of himself in this regard, and God, I mean, I would think we would have the more appropriate, like the way we see him is probably the way he actually is, and I don't think that he's I don't think that he's very self-aware in that regard.
No. And I think that these approaches in jail where guys coming up to him say, you're in here for telling children that the earth was flat. Do you know what I mean? Like, who would go to jail for that, Couldn't you have just not told the children the earth was flat?
It must be nice to be him though, and see yourself that way, like to be that clueless of let's say that happened, right? The way you just described it, but him perceiving it as guys coming up to him like, "Oh, you're the guy who's flat smacking kids. That's cool, man."
Right, right. He would obviously see it that way, wouldn't he? Well, we know he would. We know he would from the prank, which we will see later, of course.
Yes, the prank.
The prank. All right, shall we have a bit more?
Let's do it.
Unless anyone else wants to make a comment, there's lots of us here, so please do.
Well, Kosho, you're right. He lacks insight and judgment to his actions, and that is something that pretty much all people with delusions or psychiatric problems share. It's like a commonality between their illness. They don't have that capability.
You know what's true though? I said this to my dad last night. I said this when we first saw the clip of the bus driver thing. Isn't it great though that he whatever's going on with him, who knows what's going on with him? But isn't it great that he not only does these things, but at least videotapes it and shows it to the world? You know what I mean? It's like it's not hidden from anybody. It's really it's remarkable. I think we live in a special time where somebody will do stuff like this and videotape it and share it to the world as if it was some kind of he's doing some good.
Yeah, I often wonder what people will think in, say, 200 years when they look back at, YouTube Antique or whatever it's called then, and look at things like this, and I wonder what they'll think about it.
Yeah, that's a good point, because it's very possible that very very soon in the future, maybe in 10 years, 20 years, there might be a new social etiquette almost, like where it's kind of people understand that things are going to be eternally online, and it's understood not to,
right,
not to, on purpose display these things.
Well, that's been the case since the 1990s.
Yeah, but it's not so obvious though. You know what I mean? It's not like obviously there's people who do things like this and videotape it, and they don't have any regard for that. You know what I mean?
If that was the case, there wouldn't be any America's Funniest Home Videos co-show.
I wonder if stuff will be eternally online, though. You know, I mean,
Nah.
YouTube has to end somewhere, doesn't it? It has to say there has to be some way they have of dropping stuff off the other end of it. You know what I mean? Of saying, right, this video, nobody's watched this video for 10 years. There's no point in having it on YouTube anymore or on our servers.
Maybe.
You think they're going to wait 10 years?
Yeah, well, they already have videos that have been up there for 10 years that don't have views. I mean,
right.
The thing is, I'm not sure that they have to do that, though. I guess it depends on how fast the population grows and how much.
I think they'll keep it going because it's like a giant archive at this point, though. I don't think they would start.
They might start moving things to cheaper, harder to get to media. Like they could archive things essentially, but I'll bet you'll still have it somewhere.
But that costs money. Why would they do things that cost them money that don't make them money?
Well, because relative to to the big scheme of things, it doesn't cost that much. They have to basically do it anyway. It's only an incremental cost, and there might be a value in it in some way, form, or shape.
It's just an expression.
If they want to charge the content owner, say, hey, if you want to save it, here, pay this fee. Otherwise, we're dumping it.
But why? Yeah, but think about this. Why don't they do that right now? Like, why are they charging people for holding the content now? Because there's a value in incenting people to stay and use their service, and by keeping everything archived, they're providing that same kind of incentive. Same thing with Google Mail. Why don't they charge you for the storage? Because they get value out of giving it to you for free.
Right.
They did send a notification though earlier. I think a couple months ago they started doing this. They said if something hasn't been touched in 3 years, this is for Google Drive though. If it hasn't been touched in 3 years, they're going to delete it basically.
Wow, that's crazy. Okay.
But yeah, I guess that's because they're trying to just limit that from happening. But again, this is just an expression. I'm going to say eternally online. I guess it should be more accurately, it's got the potential, to be out there forever. Because once you put it online, someone could download it and save it, and then they could, in the future.
Right, that's true. That's true. Okay, let's have another clip. Children weren't the only vulnerable people being flat-smacked last year. David Weiss decided to bullshit an old lady in a care home. Let's take a look.
Tell me your name.
Ruth Heath.
Ruth, and how old are you today?
102.
102. So you were born in
1918.
1918. You said that you're religious, that
yes.
you follow the Bible.
Yes, I do.
And are you aware that the Bible is all about the flat earth, that God put the earth on the footstool and separated the waters from the waters and created the firmament? If you read Genesis, I'm not the Bible guy, I have friends that are so good at it, but there's over 200 verses in the Bible that refer to a flat earth. Did you know, wait, let me ask a question, just switching topics a little bit, that we never went to the moon, that was all fake?
Is that right?
That's correct.
I saw that whole happening.
Yeah, so did I, and we all believed it, but that was just to reinforce that people to believe they can live on a ball and they could walk on a ball. Nobody's ever been to space because space doesn't exist. There is no space. There's just this world.
Oh, it's such a lie.
It's such a lie, but knowing the lie is like going to a magic show.
I woke up.
Yes, that's what we call it. We call it red. This is your moment of waking up.
David Weiss in action there. I've kept the clips short this evening, so as I say, because they were due to go in the 1 hour show.
It's just despicable to see him behaving like that, taking advantage of senior citizens.
It's pretty bad, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You think, like, when you watch that? Yeah, go ahead, Jim. Sorry.
Well, no, you go ahead. Go ahead.
No, because I watched this earlier, and I get the same sentiment VD just described. It really is disgusting. And I remember when I saw it, months when it happened. It's disturbing that he's convinced, like, because you can see he's not only pulling information from her, like he's thinking like, oh, he's trying to get her to recollect whether she remembers. You didn't play that in that part of the clip, but he's trying to he asks her if she remembers what they taught in schools when she was younger.
Right.
But this part of the clip, though, I think it's disgusting because he's obviously convincing her of something. Like she feels like she seems like she feels like she's out of the loop about what's going on in the news or something like that. And so he tells her like the moon landing, we found out it's fake.
Right.
She hears that. She probably thinks that that's like an understood thing now.
Yeah,
not just, like,
generally
crazy
he
dude.
says it like it's a generally held belief, doesn't he? Like it's well, actually that turned out to be a fake. Everybody knows this now, and yeah, I think it was profoundly dishonest of him, and it's led to quite a I've often heard people refer to this, flat earthers refer to this. And there's quite a few of them that hold this idea, including David Weiss, Jeranism as well, that the globe was only introduced in the 20th century, around about the 1930s, the 1940s. And before that, everyone believed the earth was flat. And I find this idea astounding, I really do. Especially as so much of the modern meme emanates from Robotham, who was famous for being a flat earther in the 1860s. So,
right. That's a good point, actually. Yeah. Otherwise, like, why would he have even been talked about unless he was like,
right?
A strange person. Strange to believe that the Earth was flat. But yeah, I think honestly, I think it's just lazy thinking because. They have one article. I think you said it was like a parody or a joke or satire or something like that.
Yeah, it's satirical. Yeah, that
right. So they have that one article, and then they have what's it called? What's it? Universal Studios, where they have the globe, and they think that was introduced when Universal Studios, gave us the globe. That's just lazy thinking, really.
Yeah, yeah, it is. As you say, based around those ideas, really. And this added fuel to the fire. It'd be interesting to know what she actually was taught in school. I suspect she was taught that people used to be taught that the earth was flat.
We looked it up one time. We found some old school book textbooks from like 1912 and 1915, and we were reading about what they had in terms of astronomy and physics and all that stuff. It was kind of interesting. Most of it was basically just a subset of what we learned today. It wasn't like it was anything blatantly wrong that was like being emblazoned in bold letters or something. I think we did find a discussion of the Earth's shape and the orbits of the around the sun and all that stuff. It was all there, like just like the heliocentric model was. I think that was in like a 1920 something textbook.
Right.
For public school or something like that, because I'm thinking, I listened in the 1800s. I'm like not sure they even taught science to young people, at least. You know what I mean? Because
he wasn't born in the 1800s, though.
Yeah, I know. But I'm referencing because that's the reference I have of them teaching like grammar and math and
reading, writing, arithmetic.
Right, exactly. But they don't. I don't think they necessarily taught science back then. I'm not sure when they introduced it into.
This book that we were looking at was a textbook. I don't know for what level, but the textbook was focused on not just science, but actually on astronomy.
Interesting.
Yeah,
it had been collegiate level.
Okay, I was gonna say because that makes sense. I was gonna say it's college level. That makes sense. But I wonder if they taught that in.
I don't know why they wait. 1920s though. I mean, 1920s is it's pretty late.
I mean, that was the time of the Depression, and right after the World War. So.
I would love to know what she was actually taught, though. It would be interesting to know.
What's the problem? She's an old lady who's obviously over 100 years old in this film.
Right.
Her family, by the way, I hope her family sees this and tracks him down.
Right.
He talks to him. But her family's probably really disturbed by him doing this to her. But yeah, I mean, she's a very old lady, and she's out of touch, So.
I just remembered something that actually informs us a lot, which is for sure they were learning science in the 20s because the Scopes trial, where they're having somebody suing somebody over teaching evolution in high school, is in 1925 or 26, somewhere in that range.
Right.
So clearly they've been teaching evolution in school as early as that.
Right.
Has anyone confirmed that she's not Robotham's daughter or something like that?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Water.
it's not impossible. She was taught that the Earth was flat. There was this this community of Zion in the USA that existed around that time as well. I'm not sure where she's from, and they taught that the Earth was flat.
Then you'd have to, because you'd imagine it to be something kind of like the Waco kind of people or some kind of fringe society, where to be a part of a society like that, you kind of have to already know that everybody else is wrong or something. Like you're different than everybody else.
Yeah, they were they were Bible literalists, very, very Bible literalists. You know, they had strict rules on what you could wear in their town and this sort of thing, you know. And they actually started the first regular international radio service, believe it or not.
What's that show that comes on? What's it called? The late night on the radio. What's that guy that comes on? Space Coast? No, that's Space Coast.
Yeah, Coast to Coast.
Coast to Coast.
Yeah,
Go
Coast
baby.
to Coast.
Yeah, it would have been like that, but you know, in the 1920s, I guess. Anyway, let's have another clip, which is my most watched clip of last year. On the 30th of May, SpaceX launched humans into space for the first time, and the flatties were on hand to offer their expert opinion.
Welcome to the Rose 777 channel. We are here today in anticipation of the Fake X launch. We are on the front lines of forgery here, as we are aware of the mass deception that occurs in this realm.
These two goons you see right there on the screen to the right, they're probably sitting in some warehouse somewhere and or pre-filmed. Who knows? But yeah, it's a given that just like the Challenger, there's no one actually aboard, and no one died, no one got hurt.
I hope we see their cheeks look funny.
They need to accelerate like 200 miles an hour every 3 or 4 seconds.
Isn't escape velocity 25,000 miles per hour too? They always say that, and they never get anywhere close to that. They don't even get close to 17,000 miles per hour,
or 1,000 miles per hour.
Right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
And a warning to anybody out in the ocean.
Cut 1. Cut 2.
Okay.
It's a balloon. I think we're in animation already.
Yeah, sorry about that. The guy on the right had his hands up, and with all that thrust, that shouldn't be happening.
Heading out towards the ocean. Beware if you're out there.
Note that it's already going horizontal.
Yeah.
So
explain that.
Yeah, by the way, they keep flipping back and forth. So that one's curved.
That one's curved, and the other one's flat.
Second, they
Game
flip the other
over.
one.
Game
It's flat.
over. Fake.
Yep. There it is. Look at that.
Flat.
No curve. What happened to
What
it?
the heck?
They're going to try to land this?
All right, just so people that are watching realize that this is the tank, which weighs several tons, empty, and those little fins, those milk crates, are steering it. They're using those to steer it so it could land upright like a pencil on a ship that's floating in the ocean that has no people on it.
This also goes against all avionics maintenance because you do not reuse high stress parts that have been used in airspace. You just don't.
Oh, we
come
lost
on.
the signal.
No.
No. Don't you
Yeah.
Landing shortly here.
It's because of the curvature of the Earth, you guys. See? Oh,
Look,
God.
it landed.
It landed. Look at that. Nice.
Yeah, that was way too fast. Way too fast. It landed. It cut out for just a second, and then you come back and it's there. Come on.
And basically, if you are willing to believe in nonsense, if you're reduced to a fantasy-based reality, then you're going to be much easier to control. It works out for everyone if you're willing to believe in total BS.
And if they started teaching it 1910, whatever, 20, 30, 40, eventually they'd have to show people it. And that was the whole point of the moon landing.
At this point, people believing in the space station, it's just willful ignorance.
Yeah.
It's just willful ignorance. So people just want to believe that it's real. They don't have the ability, as James True says, that they clip that information is beyond their ability to see.
Yeah, that was my most watched clip of last year. And, well, you know, I posted it actually as a separate clip on my channel, and people don't always look or kind of realize what the channel's about. They just see the clip or someone sends them it, and they think I'm one of the people in the video, and so they pour out their hate on my channel. I know, it's amazing how many comments I've got on that. People really are really cross about that, you know. They really don't like the way the flat earthers were with it. And we heard there as well, we heard Jeranism talking about it, you know, his idea that the globe was introduced in the 1930s or 40s, and that's why NASA did the moon landings, you know. Any thoughts, gentlemen?
I remember the original clip, and they kind of he said it briefly, but he almost said it like it was a joke. But I know it wasn't a joke when they said it in the original clip about how they honestly, and Bob Nodell thinks this too, or had said this too, that those are actually just filled with helium because they're floating. Right. It's like, what are you talking about? It's like, how out of touch could you be? And this guy, what is it, Darth or David Weiss?
Yeah.
He really is. I was thinking about this when I was watching the other clip. He really is kind of one of the dumbest flat earthers. And I wonder if they're embarrassed by him a little bit, by some of the things he says and does, because it's almost like he just says things that don't even make sense.
Right. He's never really. He did do a debate, actually. I think he did a couple, actually, right at the start. But his debating technique was basically to say, well, I can't explain that, but there's a video on my channel that does. And he would just basically, that was his response to an awful lot of things in that debate. And also, he did two, and the first one, he was sort of presenting his evidence, and he was sort of under some time pressure. So he did it like really, spoke really fast. And then the second one, he wasn't under any time pressure, but he still spoke really fast. It was really weird. It was like he'd sort of caught it from the first one. And that sort of helped him a little bit just by talking really quickly. He didn't, you know, it sort of made it seem like he didn't need to give a full response because he was trying to do it quickly, you know.
No, I mean, I was thinking about what I'd said, that they're embarrassed by him, and I just remembered who else was on that panel with him, and I don't think that they're embarrassed by him.
Right.
No one's embarrassed.
There was
you can't embarrass a flat earther. Come on. You've tried, Kosho.
There was Karen B, Mark Sargent, Jeranism, Rose 777 was hosting it. There was, what's his name? Russian Vids was there.
It's really no different, though, when they did the Falcon Heavy and they were saying, and Bob Nodell was saying it's a balloon, you can just see it bobble around.
Right. Yeah, he actually believes that the top of it is filled with helium.
It's a.
Can you imagine? Like, I don't know. How can
it's like rocket-assisted helium balloon that goes like, you know, thousands of miles per hour.
Although I have to say, you can get these remote control models. Well, I don't know whether you can get them, but people have made them. And they make, like, for instance, a 747. And they make it, part of it, from a Mylar balloon. And they look absolutely...
Right, they fly them at, like, trade shows. I've seen those. They fly them at trade shows, and they have, like, little fans on them that, like, let them scoot around the trade show, and people can put their advertising on them.
Right, they look amazing, because they fly at a sort of a scaled speed, you know, because they're sort of a balloon, essentially. Right. But they look like like the airliner, you know. You can't tell. There's no seam or anything like that. It's really
you know who else has a really good helium balloon show? Roger Waters. Yeah. What?
Hey, how fast can they get from Sydney to Santiago?
Oh, they're very slow. When you see them, I mean, there's videos of them on YouTube, and they're usually in like a sports hall or something like that, flying them around, you know. But they're really cool. Anyway, I'm rambling on about scale models, which probably not.
Yeah, I was going to add, they were making fun of the grid fins, saying that there were these little tiny things, but they just look tiny next to the rocket. They're like the size of a person. They're like 5-6 feet long and like probably 4 or 5 feet wide.
I know.
And actually,
I was going to say, when I've seen those, I've always been surprised by how massive they are. You know, you think, oh wow, they don't look that.
Yeah,
big.
Musk says that they're the largest single-piece cast titanium pieces in the world, and they're incredibly expensive to produce, which is one of the most important parts of recovering them.
Right.
Which part are you talking about?
The grid fins.
Yeah.
The fins.
Oh, okay.
You know, that
those
pop
paddle
out when they're landing it. Yeah.
Oh, you mean the milk crates?
Milk crate, yeah.
Yeah. Cheese graters.
Yeah, that's funny. But
So-
that's right. You know, sorry. Go ahead, Mr. Wise.
Oh, I was just going to ask, were there many of these reaction videos done by flat earthers? You know, when they get into a group and watch a rocket
The
launch?
whole show, I remember during the Falcon Heavy demo launch, like Jeranism and Bob Nodal, they all got together and did like one of those types of videos where they were critiquing it.
Right.
You know, here's the cut. Here's the CG.
Yeah.
But if you on that one, you hear David Weiss say it's CGI, or it's an animation. I think he says, and he says that about half a second into the third camera angle. So you know, I mean, obviously, there's absolutely no way he's had time to assess anything about the image whatsoever. He just blurts it out. You know,
like a reflex.
I remember.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Jim.
But I was going to say. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I remember they also did one on the space shuttle, and it was because, you know, the shuttle did this light off routine where they would light the 3, you know, liquid burning main engines, and they would make sure that they reach nominal thrust before they light the boosters, because the boosters are solid rockets. Once they light those, there's no stopping, right? That's going to go.
Right.
And so what would happen is when the 3 main engines would reach nominal thrust, the entire assembly would kind of jerk around, right? Because it's just being held down by the bolts. The whole thing would kind of twist and bonk around a little bit. And they were like, oh, this is just the balloon, it's just like a balloon on a string. You could just see it kind of tethering there as it rocks back and forth.
Right. Crazy ideas they have. I think they did this one because it was, you know, humans returning to space from the USA, and I think that put it in the news a bit, you know, made it a bit of a big deal. And of course you'd got these guys in their, you know, their designer spacesuits that Musk had put them in, and you know what I mean, that all made it a bit of a thing, you know, a bit of a show. So it was cool to see, though. I love the inside of that. I mean, it really looks like a spaceship, doesn't it? It looks.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? It's really good.
Yeah, when you compare that with what Lockheed Martin is going to provide, it basically looks like you're in like an airplane where the luggage is, and you're like sitting with the suitcases, basically.
Right.
That's like you compare that to what SpaceX has, like this luxury, you know, vehicle almost. It's such a huge difference.
It looks like the inside of a Mercedes or something, you know. Yeah. It's cool, very impressive. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something I can't remember. All right.
Well, while you're thinking of
Curved, welcome.
Are you guys the least bit concerned by the fact that your BS meters just aren't as sensitively tuned as those flat earthers?
Are what meters?
BS meters.
Yes, yeah. See, they can spot BS before it even comes on the screen.
Yeah, well, yeah, that seemed to be the case, didn't it? You know. Oh, yeah, that's what I was going to say. There's a moment when the feed cuts out as the thing lands and they lose the camera feed. There's a sort of look of joy on Karen B's face, you know, because I think for her, up until that point, it's all just been a bit too real, even though they've been bitching away at it live, you know. I think there isn't really, for her up until that point, she hasn't really got much to work with. And then that happens, and you can see this sort of look of joy and relief on her face that, aha, their camera cut out. So now I know it's fake, and I've got a thing to point to that I can say makes it fake, you know.
Yeah, good observation.
Yeah, they made it all, and of course they're gonna do that, but they all made it seem like that was, oh, obviously they're gonna cut it here, because
Right.
there's no way they can make, because I think you're right, like there was a feeling of, wow, that'd be really impressive if they actually, you know,
Right.
make it look like they're landing this thing in the middle of the ocean. Yeah.
I mean, they do sometimes. You do get the landing, don't you? But not on all of them. It's a shame they don't do it from another angle somewhere.
Right.
Another unmanned vessel.
Right.
Yeah, right. Like, I don't know why that's an amazing feat. Like they make it seem like that's the outrageous thing about it. When who said that? Mark Sargent said that or something like that. He's like, oh yeah, an unmanned vessel in the middle of the ocean. Like,
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
They have buoys. I mean, it's not a complicated system.
Yeah. Well, the landing site on land is unmanned, isn't it? There's no one moving it around underneath the rocket.
That's a good point.
All right, let's have another one. Every so often, a flatty jumps over the ice wall and returns to reality. Last year, one such flatty was Brother Ernest, who had some interesting things to say. Let's take a look. Oops.
If you're still wrapped up in the flat earth nonsense after all of this time, then you've shown yourself to be an absolute fool who is void of logic and understanding. I was there from 2012 to 2018 as a flat earther, a stupid idiot who just really did not consider where I live. I mean, because I had this Dunning-Kruger effect. And not only did I have a Dunning-Kruger effect, but I was absolutely sure that everybody, who disagreed with me was completely wrong. When I was a flat earther, I thought I was smarter than professors at MIT, Boston University. I thought I was smarter than the Harvard astronomy program that they had there and the Boston University. And I really wasn't, man. I was embarrassing to say, I realize now just how absolutely stupid I was as a person. Now, I know a lot of people who are going to say, oh, that's not the flat earth model, Ernest. Okay, well, let's say that this is the flat earth model. No, people like Nathan Thompson says, well, I don't need a model. I don't need maps. And all of a sudden, I have no fucking clue where this came from, because in 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, nobody had ever said in the flat earth movement, we don't need a map, we don't need a model. And all of a sudden, all these effing trolls come about saying, oh man, because you proved us wrong, because you busted our ass, we don't need a map or a model.
Brother Ernest there. Ex-flat earther, but still believes everything NASA do is complete fakery. I do like what he had to say about models, though, there. I did think that was so true. That previously they never said that, and then when it got to about 2018, suddenly, because they knew they couldn't produce one, it was, we don't need one. Go ahead, Jake. Sorry.
You scare him away.
Good point, Jake. Well done.
It's almost impossible to believe that he's that lucid now. Like he doesn't sound at all like a flat earther in that video, and it would almost seem like he had busted his head and was just kind of in a delirium, and then his brain healed enough that now he could see clearly again.
Right, but he still believes that NASA are faking everything, which is weird, I think.
Yeah,
Allow me to retort.
Well, it's a you can't ask for too much. I mean, it's probably a big deal to go from one paradigm to the next.
Right.
I mean, it's understandable that he still doesn't trust NASA. But I remember when I first saw this, whenever you played this originally on your show, I still do. I think the full clip of this one is actually really powerful for flat earthers. I mean, it would be. I think it'd be important for all flat earthers to observe this and observe what he said and everything, because I think it's. I could be naive, but I think it would be very powerful for a lot of them. I don't know.
Maybe.
I'm still trying to play catch up in the video here, and I got lost, so I didn't see it. But is this the Ernest clip where he goes full flop from flat Earth right through the globe, straight on through to concave Earth?
I don't know whether he did do concave, did he?
I remember somebody saying that.
I thought that by the end of the video that's what he was kind of saying, but maybe I'm just lost.
Yeah,
and
that's
confused.
what they're saying in the chat, that he's a concaver. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like his fundamental flaw of not being able to analyze evidence and apply it to reality still exists, but he had some insight. He gained some insight that he was saying that he knew more than people who were experts and had actually studied this for his life. Like, that's actually a pretty giant step for someone who's delusional to actually acknowledge something like that. So good for him. But I think Coach was right. He's not all the way there yet. And I don't think there's any reason to expect him to go from 100% wrong immediately to 100% right. It's incremental.
Yeah, we're all on a journey of truth, I guess, aren't we? All right, anyone got anything else to say on that one, or shall I push on?
Any predictions for what he's going to say next year, or I guess this year?
I mean, like I said, I see things through different lenses than a lot of you guys, and probably it's naive even. But I remember, yeah, it just seemed like he went over his evolution, because the way you played it also in your clip, you showed an example of him in the past, and then you showed this clip. And it's just like when you put all that together and you see the progression, evolution of, his, belief in this and where he was and where he's describing flat Earth is now. Yeah, and I say that, and I know it wouldn't have any effect at all, but you think it would have some effect on flat Earther watching that.
Okay, let's move on. One of the biggest conspiracies born last year was the whole coronavirus is caused by 5G thing. This led to a number of those epic flat Earth moments, including this one featuring Earth is Seriously Flat, Renee.
Hey brothers and sisters, here we are on quarantine. They don't let anybody go to school. They don't want anybody to open their business, their bars. They want everybody to stay home, all right? Everybody to stay home. On the other hand, we got this knucklehead up here working on 5G. Hey, get your ass over here, brother. I need to know what you're doing in the public. What are you doing up there, man? Hey! We're supposed to be in quarantine, right? I need to know who gave you authorization to be on the streets without a mask. I think you're infected with coronavirus. You're going to jail, motherfucker. Get your ass down here, man. I'm calling the cops, man. We know the 5G kilometers, 60 gigahertz. We know they're messing up with the oxygen molecule. This is science. They cannot deny that. All this mainstream media zombies think that they got sick from the coronavirus. And this is just the side effects of the kilometers that are upgrading. And they're putting everybody on lockdown so they can come and work on this shit. What the fuck is this? Who you you working for? I'm gonna turn off your car. Fuck you. Have a good day. You working for the gas company? What's your name? Vincent what? I need to know your name. Yes, I need to know your name.
And that was Rene in action. Of course, he was arrested and charged for that. Like
Oh, the irony.
Yeah.
You're going to jail, my friend.
Yeah.
I wonder if Nathan Thompson is watching this and, hey, that was the wedding singer at what's his name? Reckless Ben's wedding.
Oh yeah, it was. He was the flutist, the flautist.
Yeah, yeah.
He was so peaceful on that compared to this.
You know what? I haven't watched the last one yet.
Actually, I don't think that's in the Reckless Ben video, but I know it's supposed to be in one of Nathan's.
I think it is in the third one. I think, or the one before the last one when they're in the park.
Oh, I missed the fourth one. I think.
I was amazed at how quickly he worked himself up into a state of madness. Maybe he was a bit too close to that tower himself.
Right. Well, I think though that they live in this sort of conspiratard bubble, and I think we saw that earlier with Shelley Lewis, who was the, if you remember the clip of the woman who gets to the supermarket and won't wear a mask, and she uploaded that herself, presumably, as I put there, thinking that people would think, oh, they're so unfair on her, and she's, she has a medical condition, and that's not fair. They're discriminating against her, and the internet just turned on her, and she had a business that was internet based to some extent. She did like vegan cooking or something. I can't remember. So all of that went, a Facebook, everything went. She cancelled herself, and I think it's like that with Rene. I think, they're just surrounded by people that, for them, this whole 5G thing is a reality, and he goes out into reality, and for him, it's real.
I was there to give this guy on the pole a glabortion.
It's a bit like when you've been playing a driving game and then you actually get in your real car and you have to do a few double takes.
Yeah.
I know
Which is always unsettling.
Yeah. I know someone that actually knocked a motorcyclist off their motorbike after playing a driving game.
No.
Yeah. They were.
Did they say it was because of the game?
Yeah.
Was he playing
Yeah, he said it was
Cyberpunk?
because of the game.
Holy shit, that's crazy.
Well, what was that knucklehead doing up there in that bucket with no mask in the middle of a pandemic?
He's repairing a 5G tower or something.
I don't even think it was 5G, was it? But
Well,
still,
it wasn't even 5G.
He said he was
that
working for the
knucklehead,
gas company.
Likely story.
He was taking that. He had that vantage point so that he could spread his corona far and wide.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
He's got more.
But it has.
He's got more range.
I mean, the one thing you have to admit is Corona has spread a lot ever since that incident. So,
yeah,
coincidence maybe, but
it's spreading. It's spreading here. Oh my god! I'm thinking I'm just not going to go outside anymore. 50,000 new infections a day here.
That's a lot.
It's crazy, isn't it? That is crazy.
You guys are just more compact, I guess, than most of America. Like, our cities are pretty compact, but I forget how many people. I forget how small your island is, and then I guess you have like 20 million people almost, or something like that.
65.
65.
Oh, well, okay. Well, then, yeah.
Yeah, it is somewhat cramped. It's sort of, compared with America, it's finished. The impression I got when I visited America was, it's not finished yet.
That's funny. It's true though too, especially here in Austin. It's never finished.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't be more than, I don't know, about 20 miles away from a city in the UK. Probably not even that. Anyway, I'm all a bit relaxed. Shall we have another clip?
Do it too.
Of course.
I'm all out of order.
I've got about a 20-second delay here, mate. So when I watch the clip, I'm way out of sync. Must be because I'm in Australia.
Okay.
I'm getting something before something else.
Well, oh right, okay. Well, if you want to do it from the clips that are sent, you can go to that video, which is called can't remember, but it's the one I sent. And if you go to 13 minutes and 17 seconds in that video, you'll be in about the right place. Oh, I did miss a super chat. You're right. I'm so sorry. Truth Nerd says concave Earth is more wrong than FE mathematically. Is that true, do you think?
Yes.
I'm not sure what they mean.
concave,
They
it'd be like
would
a
probably
halo.
have to give you another super chat and elaborate a little bit.
Well, there's at least some aspects that would make more sense on a concave Earth than it would on a flat Earth. Like,
you'd have to look up to see the horizon on a concave Earth, right?
yeah, but there's some things with gravity. If you think about it, there's some things. It solves some problems with gravity that the flat Earth would have.
You could have two
if
celestial
like we're
poles, I think.
yeah, and yeah, but if we're still rotating, then you could have gravity without gravity.
Yeah, but okay, so you're talking about concave Earth as in we're inside of the Earth, then?
Yeah, it's like we're inside of a bowl of some sort, right?
You know what's funny about that? Wouldn't that still be a sphere?
Yeah, I guess we'd be on the inside of it, I guess. There's something else too, I feel like there's another thing it solves.
I'll just read out this super
Introduces
chat from Kit. Thank you very much for the super chat, Kit. Everybody watching on YouTube should come to the Discord server and let your voice be heard. That's good advice. You can just pop in the room, and join in if you've got something to say. Come and say it. We don't mind.
Hey, kid, funny thing is, mate, you're not here.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Do come and join us, Kit. Let your voice be heard too.
I gotta say, if my dad's listening, don't take that advice.
Yeah, your dad can come in, Kosho. That'd be good.
Also, your sister. Oh, wait.
Come on. Anyways, he's already said.
No.
I told him about the cash cab thing for the Lyft, and he already said because I'm supposed to give him a ride tomorrow. He wants to be my first, the first person on my show. I'm like, oh no, Dad.
Kosho, are you trying to quiz people in your car when you're driving them around?
Yeah, I think
is that
so.
legal? Is it gonna be? Are you gonna get in trouble for that?
I think so.
Probably not. I'm not gonna get caught.
Oh, okay. But it's probably not legal, right?
There's nothing illegal about that, but yeah.
Just
but
ask your dad. I think he's a lawyer.
Outside the spectrum of the show.
You can get people to sign a waiver.
Yeah, that's what they do on.
You'll find a template
HBO,
for one online.
cash cab.
I used to have to do that all the time. Get people to sign these waivers. If you make like some.
But sooner or later, someone.
You make a corporate video or something like that, and it's got, Julie who runs the accounts department, and then they've got her in it, then she's got to sign a waiver, sort of thing.
Are you going to give away prizes if they win?
Yeah, I'm gonna give them their ride for free.
You going to pay for their rides?
Yeah, basically.
And how long until somebody complains, you think?
Well, that's the thing. I'm not gonna. Why would they complain?
Because people are weird.
Yeah, well, no. I'm gonna put a sign. I'm gonna put a thing on the back of my headrest that says something like "Ask me about the trivia," if that's something like that. And that way, I'm not asking every person who gets in the car, but if somebody's interested in it, then
you could even if you could even make it very clear, like even make it very clear if they want to play the game or whatever, they can do this thing or whatever, they can say something, but make it so clear that they're engaging into a thing.
Yeah, exactly. And I just want to remind you, I didn't realize that you were asking me if it's legal, if I can videotape them, because when I asked everyone in the room a couple weeks ago, you're the one who said, yeah, of course it's legal. And then I was like, how do you know that? And you said you were just guessing.
No, I wasn't talking about inside of a car. I was saying if you're out in public and you're just filming, you can grab people's image. But if you're in a car and you're doing a private like company's car ride, I have no idea what the reality is there. I would imagine there's probably not. Before
we go on about this during the show, I've got to tell you guys something a little bit later on about what my dad's going to do in reference to that. But I don't. It's outside the spectrum of the show.
All right. On that note, we should probably have another clip. I'm trying to just figure out where we are in the show now, because I don't know. Hold on, bear with me. All right, so coming up next, it is, what is it? Okay, it's Mark Steele again. Yeah, Mark Steele was in a wrangle. I've lost my notes for this for some reason. It's just vanished. So Mark Steele was in, well, he ended up in a debate. He wasn't originally the contender, but there's another guy, I can't remember his name, was in a debate with MC Toon about 5G. And this guy, who was really out of his depth, sort of called in Mark Steele as reinforcements. And piss-drinking Dave Murphy turned up as well. We'll hear a little bit of him in this clip. So anyway, enjoy this, because it gets good. Bear with me. There.
You don't absolutely. You are an absolute joke. There are children being burnt to death.
Yeah,
in North
that's
London.
a lie. That's a lie too, Mark. Mark, that's a disgusting lie.
Something? Do you fancy me or something?
No, I think you're a disgusting liar, and that's why I say all this and I do this, because
Why would
you're a
you say
horrible,
that?
horrible, terrible person.
More than half of England are behind this man. More than half of England are behind this man, and more are waking up to it. No one wants 5G
Simon,
over here, mate.
You've never had any involvement in weapon systems.
But neither of you, Mark. No, you haven't.
No. You're saying that. Do you want me to sue you? Right?
Yeah, go ahead. You have no, Mark, I'll just make it clear. You have no expertise in weapons systems. I'll just say that right now.
Okay, so the point is, you're saying that the technology, right, is it's the wrong way round. Well, I'm afraid we don't know what the military is playing around with.
But that's not military. Harvard Technology isn't the military. Harvard Technology is just a company in England there.
That's got nothing to do with children being burnt to death in North London.
But they're not being burned to death. You are a pathetic piece of garbage. You disgusting pig. There is nothing that you know about those kids. You were not there. You're not a medical doctor. You don't know anything about them, and you're using their deaths for your stupid hustle. You pathetic pig. Disgusting, horrible person. Mark Steele, you are completely evil. Such a piece of garbage that you would use some innocent kid's death for your own gain. How gross is that?
So we know that this is direct energy weapons. That is the technical parameter for 5G. Now, here we've got your enable attack target document from Hawaii. Beamforming target correlation to track and illuminate a target with the configured beamformed lobe. A target. You get it? It's all the way from Hawaii, from China, Chinese whistleblower. And what it actually states there, clearly, maximum level for the attack.
I have a very special show for you today. We are going to be exposing Mark Steele. So this is a document that was leaked to him from, he says, a whistleblower.
I think some people have figured it out.
And then you click decode, and look what you get. Mark Steele's own document that he leaked has a special message just to Mark Steele.
I'm trying to leave my sunglasses for this. I really am.
Yes, it says, Mark Steele is a twat. Who will believe any old Naughty, naughty. Now, I did not make this document. I don't know who did make this document, but hats off to you, whoever did it. Excellent troll.
Because I checked it out. It's bona fide and it identifies the equipment as a weapon. Now, obviously, if it's been doctored to show that it's a weapon and it's not a weapon, well, I would identify it as a weapon because that's what I am, a weapons expert. So I identified the documents as bona fide, as they are, as a weapon. Simple. Nothing complicated. The fact that they embedded some crap in it is of no concern of mine. That's just a little bit joke between them and the intelligence agency because that was, and as anybody can see, a psyop.
Mark Steele there getting his comeuppance, the weapons expert. And MC Toon, of course, that led the way on that one, which was, I thought he did a great job, actually, I have to say.
What do you think he looks like without his sunglasses on?
I know. He's never without them, is he? He's always got them on.
Maybe he has glaucoma.
Well, I wonder if he, because he's another one of those guys that's like, it's obvious that he's, because he even, McToon told him, he's like, yeah, you're taking advantage of dead kids or whatever. But I wonder if he's aware of his, like if his dishonesty. I mean, he must be, I guess, but he seems blatantly dishonest. Yeah.
You were talking about this earlier. These people lack insight into the things they say and the consequences of their actions.
Yeah, but he's claiming to be an expert, a weapons expert, and I guess it's not different.
The king is claiming to be the freaking king of the world. I mean, what's the difference?
Yeah, but I think that
the size of the claim.
I don't think that king is delusional though. I think he's probably like.
No, I think you're delusional.
Well, no, I wonder. I tell you, I'll offer some reasoning, an idea that passed through my mind, and it was just speculation on my mind. But this is a guy who shot and paralyzed someone when he was sort of arsing around with a gun somewhere in like a nightclub or something where he was a bouncer. And he managed to accidentally shoot someone and paralyze her. And he did 8 years in prison for this. And I wonder if this wasn't his way of dealing with that, was to create this persona for himself where he's a weapons expert.
Well, see, he does have experience with weapons.
But no expert would accidentally shoot somebody.
Right.
I hope.
You would think.
Well, I know better than to judge a book by its cover, but you got to admit, the guy looks like a weapons expert, doesn't he?
No.
Okay, so what?
Yeah.
I tried.
I think he's.
Well,
or he's
sorry, Mark.
He's essentially he's one of those guys one of those stolen valor guys, if you like, but who likes to say they were in. It's like in this country, you very rarely meet anyone who was just in some regular regiment of the army. They were all in the SAS,
I think you hit it on the head,
Really?
possibly when what you described before about his way of coping with it. But I think this is honestly 100% speculation. But when you go to prison, 8 years, as you said, he's telling people. When you tell people a story long enough, you internalize it as if it were true. You know what I mean?
Right. That's what
it
I
becomes
thought.
the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it probably started out as him. Like his way of describing it to people when he's in prison, because this is going to, people are going to ask why are you here and all that kind of stuff, and it would make sense that he would embellish and exaggerate, and kind of take the blame away from himself, and then eventually that becomes the truth to him.
Right.
Yeah, it's a good defense mechanism for his ego.
Yeah, I think maybe that's the truth. Because I mean, that would be, I don't know, if you did that, you would feel awful, wouldn't you? I mean, God. Well, you would hope he did anyway.
But some people don't take that kind of responsibility. Like, I mean, you see it all the time. When people don't want to take responsibility for something horrible that's happened, even when it's obviously their fault.
I mean,
like chemo.
I guess if he really felt terrible in the way that he should, then he would never mention weapons again. He would steer clear of them in every way. He would make them not part of his life in any way, wouldn't he? You know, that would be one way of dealing with that situation, and he hasn't taken that route.
Have you seen him in any kind of discussion regarding that event?
No.
Like, have you ever heard him talk about it?
No. And I think the source that, I mean, the evidence that it's him is very good, but we don't know for certain because it was quite a long time ago. But it's someone with his name living on the road that he lives on. So, so we don't know for certain it's him. There could be another one. It's not a, you know, it's not a rare name, is it? Steele.
Yeah, right.
There's probably quite a lot of people called that, you know.
It's not the most common name, but it is a normal name. Yeah.
Right. Anyway, shall we have one more? I think this is our last one.
Oh, Jim, you got a couple of super chats there.
Oh,
mate.
gosh, yeah, I did. Oh, my God, yeah. I'm so crap
Thanks,
at these.
Waz, for fucking reminding him.
I know. So sorry, people.
Still delighted to remind you.
Yeah. Todd Allen says, why does Kosho keep talking about his dad? It's weirder than when he talks about his sister. I'm sorry, Kosho, but, you know, I got paid for reading that, so, you know.
Todd Allen is 100% right.
Thank Watch.
I just want to say Kosho's sister does not sound weird to me.
I almost invited her to watch this one.
Oh, dear. What am I involved in here? What am I providing a platform for here? Truth Nerd says, getting MC Toon mad unlocks an achievement.
I thought that was funny.
Interesting. All right, let's have a last clip. It's a shorter show tonight because I did all that 1 hour thing first, and I didn't think you all had all night to hang around here. So here it is. The best Flat Earth moment of 2020 for me was, of course, the pranking of Nathan Thompson by Reckless Ben. Here is a clip that I stole from Everett Anderson as I ran out of time. Thanks, Everett. A link to Everett's channel is in the description, which is awesome. So click on that and subscribe to Everett and enjoy a bit of Nathan Thompson and the Duck Suits. Here it comes.
For the Flat Earth community, what is this? Here, Nathan, what if you answer? How is this going to affect the Flat Earth community and the society? What does this mean?
You know, it'll send out ripples, not just to the Flat Earth community, but to the Globe Earth community too, that these two gentlemen actually went out, tested it, drove across the country, got results that they weren't even happy with. This isn't what they predicted would happen. This isn't what they wanted to happen, but that's science. You know, science doesn't care about anyone's feelings. It's empirical, it's repeatable, and it's observable, and that's what we did here today. So I want to give you guys props, dude. Congratulations. You got an amazing setup. I'm sorry you didn't get the results that you wanted. We were expecting, guys, the signal to come from underneath. If the Earth was a globe, the signal came from the north or came laterally. So basically the antithesis of what we expected to happen.
Here's what this is for. If you want to explain it on the globe. Or maybe the Harvard student, or you guys, whoever wants to.
We brought this because this was gonna be our proof of the findings. I don't know, I was just looking forward to like looking you in the face and being like, this is real. Yeah. And now it's like, I don't know.
I'm unsure. There's more tests to be done now, right?
Yeah.
You know? And so I wasn't convinced after my first observation. Repeatable. Science is repeatable. So we should be able to do this every day from any location on Earth and get the same results, or it's not science. So,
well, it's definitely not a globe from the conclusion we got. It literally can't be, just because it's in the range enough where it can't be a globe, if that makes sense. So to answer your first question, we put a magnet on this side, put a magnet on this side. Instead of getting a signal through the Earth, it was almost like it was a flat Earth, and we got the signal north, and no signal came up from underneath.
Wow. How do you feel about this?
All of our 2.5 years of findings
we were using a globe model to do a smaller scale, and every time it came up north to south. So it would always point south. So our findings were always a globe. But today, doing it on
the actual
globe, we found, doing it on the actual globe, we found that it was pointing north. It was linear. And
It's moving laterally.
Lateral. How do you feel?
See, I'm confused.
I'm definitely confused because, I never expected this. We've tested this dozens of times with the smartest people we know in labs at our school, and we never expected this. We're just confused.
So, Nathan, even though they're from Harvard, I would consider you the expert on this topic now. Do you have any advice to give?
Keep an open mind. Don't be emotionally attached to the results of science. I understand if you have a favorite football team and you want them to win, but there's no way to change the outcome of the observation or experience unless you manipulate the results somehow. And we're all after finding out the truth. Science is the quest for truth. So as long as we look at the data and go by what it says, like, guys, for 5 years, I've known the Earth is flat, so I'm not surprised by these findings at all. I just think it's just more proof for the flat Earth community. It's just a cherry on top of everything we've already done. So thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
How do you think the community is going to react now? Because Harvard is a big name. I know Mark Sargent said, Harvard, come out and prove. I challenge you to come out and disprove me.
That's why we did it, because Mark said
they have now
that.
tried and failed. How is this going to affect the flat Earth community and maybe even the world?
Hopefully more people go out and do what these guys did, which is test the Earth yourself and see what you can find. I personally thought the method we used was kind of roundabout because we could just look at the surface of Earth and we see way too far. Large bodies of water don't curve. We have sight distances up to 270 miles. So if you look at the surface of Earth, it's obviously flat. You guys used the Harvard way to do it, generating a magnet that won you a Guinness World Record. And the results were, it moved laterally, not through the Earth. So very interesting. Also, you said that the max distance it could go would be about 8,000 miles. So if it moved laterally around the globe, halfway around the globe is approximately 12,000 miles. So if it was moving laterally across the globe, it wouldn't have reached there, according to the math and the numbers. So I just think it's pretty interesting that, we did what we did and got the results we got.
Do you think that them being Harvard students will cause a bigger ripple?
I think...
Well, what does this test being done by Harvard students mean? What will be the result?
Harvard students aren't just random kids on Reddit or people on the internet. Blake said that his parents spent $750,000 on his education. So, tons of credibility with the test that we did. Also, having Guinness here to verify it. The proof is in the pudding, guys. Congratulations. I'm proud of you guys. You guys did a good job.
Thank you so much. Can I get one last line, maybe, from you guys? Because I've seen you looking for flat Earth. What was this outro?
Oh. Make sure you guys keep it flat.
Keep it flat. Is that what we're all going to do? I think we should all do it.
All right, cool. Guys, keep it flat.
Keep it flat.
Keep it flat, I guess.
Let's keep it flat.
I hope you'll take me back. We have the same beliefs now, so yeah.
Woo! Yes! It's not every day you break a world record. Congratulations, boys.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
Congrats.
Good stuff.
Okay. Last couple of shots of the three here, and then we wrap it.
I didn't really care that all these big drama YouTubers were mad at us. What I cared about was there was a line. We crossed that line and we became friends with all these YouTubers. These guys thought that they were helping us as their friends. And friends don't trick other friends. Or maybe sometimes they do.
And thank you to Everett for that edit there. Saved me some time at the end. So, Nathan Thompson and the Great Pranking. What do you...
What else do you... Sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just thinking to myself throughout this entire thing, this is the kind of guy that would claim that his brain training can deossify your bones and allow you to grow 2 inches taller. This is the kind of person I imagine would fall in build suits.
Right.
So, can someone explain to me what the experiment they were trying to do was?
Well, the
I've
idea
never been clear on that.
The idea was they were sending a magnetic wave through the Earth that was going to be detected in Kazakhstan by another team. And this team detected the magnetic wave, but it came at them from the side rather than from underneath.
How was this wave to be generated?
By
the world's biggest magnet is what Nathan Thompson had billed it as, even though the magnet was the size of a VCR.
Right.
And the world's biggest magnet is like something like what, 25 meters, 25 feet in diameter.
Well, the idea was that they told him there was a lot of was it iron in the soil there in that area, and so they were basically making the whole area into a magnet using that device. That was the idea, I think.
And how'd they charge it up?
I think out of I don't know. I think they had a little battery or something, didn't they? I'm not really sure.
The battery in the band. They hooked jumper cables from the band to the device that charged up the 25 square mile magnet. Just said, I can't go on.
It was a lateral experiment, but it was a literal prank.
Yeah, it was really well done as well. I thought. I think they made a great job of. I haven't seen all the videos actually. I have to confess I haven't watched the last one, but I thought the ones I've seen have been brilliant. I've really enjoyed them. And
you'll love the conclusion then, Jim, because it's them chasing Nathan around trying to make sure he doesn't get arrested for about half of it.
Right. Yeah, it'll be good to see. And yeah, I think, and I love their Scientology series, which I guess will be back up now on the channel is Reckless Ben, if anyone is interested and doesn't know. Go ahead, it's Curve, sorry.
I just want to say quickly, shame on Everett Anderson for that vile hit piece on the virtuous Nathan Thompson, a man who is truly underappreciated in the community for how actually stupid he is.
I always think there's always a moment when you're talking to him that you feel like you're talking to a child, you know. Sometimes it's a very long moment, you know.
Very long moment.
I wonder how long it takes women to realize that, because obviously he dates, every now and again. So I just wonder how that happens, and when that moment is for them. They're like, wow, why am I? This guy acts like a 5-year-old.
Yeah, he has this sort of this sort of tone, this sort of I'm not playing with you anymore sort of tone to his voice sometimes. That sort of ring to it.
Coach, so you bring up a good point. How does that man get women? He has the emotional maturity of a 3-year-old throwing a tantrum.
Well, I mean, I do know of a woman who, for a while, was very impressed by him, very much so. But they since changed their opinion of him. But it was for a fairly long time that she was very fond of Nathan.
And he had another girlfriend who he blew her out because she started drinking blood or something.
That was on your show too when he was crying about that.
Yeah.
Surely that would have been more like a play date than an actual date.
All right, well, if nobody's got anything else, shall we wrap it up for tonight?
For this year or for last year?
Am I allowed to do a shout out?
Go ahead, mate. Go ahead.
I'd like to give Multi Tom Tom a big shout out. His music still brings me joy and puts a smile in my heart.
Oh, well, that's lovely.
Oh, I'm surprised he didn't actually make the list. Didn't he find the unlit side of the sun this year?
The what? Sorry.
We never hear him anymore, do we?
Yeah. At one point, he was claiming that he had found the unlit side of the sun. I can't remember if that was this year or last year.
He's a gift that keeps on giving.
One time, and you might not want to do this, Mr. Gem, but you should think about doing a like a recap of all like the music, the flat Earth music. That's because
I've thought about doing that. Like there used to be a show on here called Jukebox Jury. I was thinking of doing that basically. Well, they would play a song and they would have a panel, and the panel would give critique it and give a score out of 10 for it.
You think now there's so much content out there. There's just almost too much content for you to even put all in one show.
I know there is. There's an awful lot, isn't there? I mean, that Flat Earth guy Flat Earth Man, is he called? He's got albums. Stuff.
His last song was actually pretty good. Like the lyrics, they suck, and everything he said wasn't true. But actually, it's a fairly good song,
right?
Musically.
All right, then we'll wrap it up. Thank you, everyone, for coming. A great big thank you to everyone everyone mute, please, because I've got a horrible echo. If you wouldn't mind. A great big thank you to everyone who has donated to my PayPal so far. If you can support the show, please follow the links in the description. And please, please, please subscribe to the channel. Join us again in 2 weeks for more fabulous flatness. In the meantime, if you see something you think should be included in the show, please post a timestamp link in the comments section of this video or join our Discord server. The link is in the description along with channel links for tonight's panel, or some of them at least. Our Discord has over 2,000 members and we managed to keep a conversation going virtually 24/7. We welcome members with opposing views, so click the link and join us. Thanks again to tonight's fabulous panel, and thanks to all of you for watching. We'll be back around the same time in a couple of weeks, so until then, please rate, comment, subscribe, and have a great evening. Oh, God, I can't find the titles now. Where have they gone? There it is.
Stop talking about it and do something! Suck my dick, Earth, with that bullshit.
Really?
It's like a gentle hate. Do we have another benevolent star here? Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Are you benevolent? Is your friend was?
My name is Logan Paul, and I think I'm coming out of the flat Earth closet.
This is so fucking depressing. I can't be a flat Earth person.
You can't have it both ways. You can't have a flat Earth and things making sense.